Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Atlantic Built. Today, I'm going to show you guys how I build this stainless steel axle back exhaust for the new Ford Bronco. You should just do a straight pipe, man. All right, yeah, sure. Let's try that. Tell me what you think.
Today I'm going to be doing a little fabrication project for the Bronco. Going to be making an exhaust. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about what I did to replace the axle back section of the exhaust on my wife's 2021 two-door Bronco Badlands. I could have gone with something like off the shelf. I know like MagnaFlow makes a cat back and this and that, but I did have the tools and the know-how to build something myself. So I figured rather than purchase something like this, I'd put together something a little more like this. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can't do this at home. You can't do that. Not everybody can do this. Well, here's the thing, guys. Anyone can do this. All you need
is a space to do it. You need to get yourself a welder. You need to learn how to use the welder, get yourself some materials. You need to know how to work with those materials and the welder together. You need to know kind of a rough idea of what materials you use are going to sound like what on the car. And then,
just as easy as that. As you can see, anyone can do it. So, I'm just doing an axle back strictly for sound. I have some experience in fabricating automotive products or motorsport products, so I figured I would show you guys and kind of give you a little demonstration of what I can do and what you can kind of expect to see more of on the channel. So this garage is pretty low ceilings. It's only like 8.5 feet. This is about how high I can go. As you can see, it's pretty close up there. I'm going to zip this nut off of the clamp here. There's one hanger here, one more over here, and then this whole muffler assembly will drop down. I know it's a new vehicle, but I'm still gonna spray it with just like a little bit of lubricant. This is penetrating fluid. It's not really, you know, a lube, but I find it will still help the nut come off of the threads. 15 mil socket. We don't need to take it all the way off. We can just leave it like that. Spray the hanger. So I'm gonna use these exhaust hanger pliers. These are really handy. What happens is this goes on the back side of the rubber, and this little pecker here will push the hanger out of the rubber. Now I'll move over to this one for the tip. So that's through already. I'm gonna put you back here so that if this exhaust does fall, you get a nice view. And that's it. See that little button on the side there? So that is to prevent the exhaust from twisting side to side. So the clamp also has the other end to where that little button sits. So it rests in there. That's what stops it from moving. I'm gonna follow that same idea, pretty tight fit. The pipe will slip in. I'll have a little button on here, and then all you'll have to do is tighten that factory clamp and it will seal up just the same and fit just like a factory muffler. So there will be no additional clamps. If I were to make more of these, I could actually mill them out in a box. All you have to do is take your old one off, put the new one on, no tips to add, no clamps, no nothing. My elbow here, I'm gonna eyeball it up so that it's 90 with the vehicle. I'm gonna mark my tube and then I can weld it up. So I always try and put at least 4 tacks on a tube when I'm tacking it together, because you wanna make sure that it's not gonna bend or pull away or whatever when you go to weld it out. And in this case, I feel like I could weld this out right now. That way this can slip in, and then I can start going from there. Awesome. I'm just gonna slip this guy in here. Point this level with the rear cross member. My muffler will sit like this. What I'm thinking is that I'm gonna angle the muffler up slightly to for one, add more clearance to the bottom here. For two, with this cutout, you're gonna see all this. So if you see like the side of the muffler or, you know, up above it, it might not look all that nice. If I tilt it a little bit, it might look a little nicer because it doesn't actually hang down any further since the gap from the side here is the same as the gap to the bottom. But it will look cool because this thing will always be super, super shiny. And then I would have my tip just like this, pointing towards the back. I was thinking I could do like a flare out and a 3-inch dump, but I'll probably just do a 2.5-inch dump off of this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mark my muffler where I wanna weld it. Lots of clearance everywhere. So now we're gonna test fit it one more time. I'm probably gonna just weld this out now and then I'll do the tip last. Now we gotta clean the parts. So like I said before, I'm just gonna tack this piece in 4 spots, maybe 6, so it doesn't warp or pull because this is a slip fit, so it is a bit different. And what I'm gonna do now is just tighten up this clamp because that'll tell me exactly how this will sit.
Now that that's all tight, I'm just going to grab a 90, slip it up there, little extension for my tailpipe to give me a good idea where this thing needs to sit, and then I'm just going to mark my elbow where I'm going to tack it to the muffler. One more quick look before I weld this thing out.
Slide it in. Got my straight section here. And this is gonna get tucked up higher. So it'll sit pretty much where the factory tip's at. Just gonna go ahead and put a couple marks on it. Okay. Okay, so I got my muffler kind of set up there, sitting about where it's gonna sit. I don't have like a proper jack stand or whatever for it, so I just use this camera tripod, and guess what? It works pretty well. This whole thing will get moved up a bit. I just didn't want to put this sharp end of the tripod in the middle of the muffler and scratch it all. That's kind of what it'll look like, but a little higher up. Well, anyways, you'll see what it'll look like when it's done and on the ground. Let's get to her. Gotta make a hanger. I'm gonna place my hanger somewhere underneath the muffler. That way the muffler's more resting on the rod and it's not hanging off of it. So sometimes I've seen where guys will have hangers on the top and the muffler has a tendency to pull away. Over time it welds could break or whatever. Not that I don't trust my welds, but I've just seen it happen. So rather avoid that altogether, have the weight resting on the rod itself and the rod just straight. Also, I'll probably run another one from here to here, something like that, just so everything stays in place. Doesn't rattle and you know, you hit a bump and the thing's shaking like this. That drives me crazy. You're driving down the road and this guy's exhaust in front of you just... So I got my camera tripod here holding this muffler in place. So I do a quick little measure. All right. All right, no burrs left on it.
Quick upgrade from my camera tripod to a stool. A little bit of tape to hold my hanger while I tack it in place.
So we're looking pretty straight there. That's where I want it. Next thing I've done is gone and cut a little piece of 3/8 round stock stainless to mimic the little button that the factory exhaust has. I feel like this will help with keeping things from twisting and moving around. So this will just get placed in there and welded in place. It is good to have these little features like the factory has. I mean, they put it there for a reason, so let's assume that it was a good reason that they put it there.
Hanger number 2. This one had a tight 90 needed to go into the rubber at the end. I decided to do a cut and weld for this rather than bend it, as it would just give me a better overall look in the finished product.
Oh. Came out pretty good. More than happy with that.
Okay, so you can see it in the hanger now, how that rod will sneak right out of the backside of that rubber, giving me a good shot at the muffler body without having to go forward or back or jog around too much to get to it. So this gives me a bigger contact patch, and I like the thought of that because it would just ensure that it would last that much longer rather than just being tacked to the tube. I'm going to tape the hanger to the muffler body now, grab the welder, and tack this thing in place. You've watched enough welding for one day. Why don't you enjoy this sweet melody and watch some clips of the muffler up until this point.
I'm going to show you just how easy this thing is to install. As I lay on the floor, I'm going to slip this hanger in here, okay? And then I'm just going to wiggle the tailpipe in. I know I sound like I'm really fighting it here, but I'm not a strong person, so. All right, that's in. So all you gotta do, just like that, that's it. Now I put some dielectric grease on the rubbers, which definitely helps with installing it. Right there, that's lined up just like factory, so that's great. I really like that little bit of it. Nice even gap up along the back side here, even gap in the front. So all that's left now is just to zip up this 15mm nut with my gun. Careful not to go too tight. I know my tools, I didn't go too tight. You don't want to snap that bolt off, but that's it. The install is just that simple. So this was, what, I've been under this thing for, I've been recording for like 3 minutes. And that's all you need. To get it off, it takes about the same amount of time. And as you can see, it's not even off the ground. It's on a couple pieces of wood that really don't know if they make that much of a difference. I'm gonna put my microphone right here so you guys can hear it firsthand. It's cold, it's been sitting for a while, so you'll get a true cold start. All right, so like I said, the idea was not to have the loudest exhaust in the world. It was simply just to give it some tone, which it's not crazy loud. It will get a little bit louder with a few heat cycles in it, but you can hear the vehicle, which before you couldn't really. I'll give it a couple revs and we'll see what it sounds like. All right, let's hop in the car, we'll go for a ride. All right, we'll go for a little drive. So you can hear it a little bit. It's not crazy loud inside, which is nice. It's kind of just loud enough so that you can hear the vehicle, but it doesn't drone or anything when you're at cruising speed. So this is just driving normal. Super tame, not annoying. So I'm at like 1800 RPM right now, 1900 RPM, and obviously the wind is the loudest part of this vehicle, and it always will be. Okay, so I'll just rev it up a couple times for you while I'm stopped. Honestly, it's not much different than stock inside the car. You get driving here and you can be the judge. So I'm gonna shift about 3,200 or so each time. The wind is still the noisiest part of this vehicle. It's not nice. Not a nice vehicle. Okay, well that's a wrap. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, whatever you want to do. Everything helps. Awesome. If you like this exhaust, you have a Bronco and you might be interested in one, shoot me an email. I'll drop the email right here. And thanks for watching and catch you next time.